The door creaked open like a gunshot in my skull. And there they were, my stepfather, Dean, with his broad shoulders hunched in a way I'd never seen. His lips locked fiercely with Carl's, my best friend since we were kids stealing smokes behind the bleachers in junior high. The room smelled like fresh coffee and betrayal, the kind that hits you square in the chest and knocks the air out. I stood frozen, my backpack slipping from my shoulder, the thud echoing louder than the scream building in my throat. Because in that split second, everything I thought I knew about family, friendship, and the quiet ache I'd buried deep inside me shattered like cheap glass. I slammed the door behind me harder than I meant to, the sound rattling the windows of our old craftsman house on the edge of Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was one of those humid August afternoons where the air clings to your skin like regret, the kind of day that makes you question why you ever came back from college early. I'd driven 4 hours from East Lansing, telling myself it was to surprise Mom for her birthday. But deep down, I knew it was because the dorms felt too empty, too full of ghosts from a semester of half-hearted hookups and late-night confessions I never voiced. Dean pulled away first, his face paling like he'd seen a specter, which, I guess, I was in that moment. Carl spun around, his dark curls disheveled, eyes wide with that boyish panic he always got when we got caught skipping class. But this wasn't some harmless prank. This was my stepdad, the man who'd marry my mom 5 years ago. The steady hand that fixed my bike and grilled burgers at block parties. The guy who pretended not to notice when I came home reeking of cheap beer. And Carl was the one who'd held my hand through Dad's funeral. The one who'd whispered, "You're not alone, Alex," when the grief clawed me hollow. What the hell is this? My voice cracked, raw and ugly, like I'd swallowed gravel. I dropped my bag, the zipper spilling textbooks across the hardwood floor. Ironic, since none of them were about betrayal or the twisted knot of feelings I'd been ignoring since puberty hit like a freight train. Dean's hand shot up, palms out, like he was calming a spooked horse. "Alex, kid, wait. It's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like." I laughed, a bitter bark that didn't reach my eyes. "You're in our living room, making out with my best friend. On the couch where Mom and I watched The Wizard of Oz last Christmas." "Yeah, sure, Dad." Enlighten me. He winced at the word Dad, and something twisted in my gut. Dean wasn't my biological father, God. No. My real dad had been a burly union welder, gone too soon from a factory accident when I was 14. Dean had stepped in like some Midwestern knight in khakis, with his easy smile and stories about growing up in a steel town outside Pittsburgh. Mom lit up around him, her laughter filling the house for the first time since the funeral. I'd resented it at first, the way he tried too hard, but eventually it settled into something like family. Or so I'd thought. Carl stepped forward, his sneakers scuffing the rug. "Alex, please, let us explain." "Explain? You two been..." "What? Sneaking around behind my back?" Behind Mom's, my fists clenched, nails biting into palms. The room spun a little, the faded floral wallpaper blurring. I wanted to punch something, the coffee table, Dean's perfect jawline, Carl's stupid, earnest face that had always made my stomach flip in ways I chalked up to bro vibes. Dean ran a hand through his salt and pepper hair, the lines around his eyes deepening. He was 42, built like he still logged hours at the auto plant. But there was a vulnerability there now, a crack in the armor. "Son, sit down. This is bigger than you think." "Don't call me son." The words tasted like acid. I backed toward the kitchen doorway, my retreat a white flag I hated waving. Mom was at her shift at the hospital, wouldn't be home for hours. Part of me prayed she'd walk in now, save me from this nightmare. But another part, the darker, hungrier one, wondered what she'd say if she knew. I bolted instead, grabbing my keys from the hook by the door. The screen door banged shut behind me, and I was in my beat-up Honda, tires screeching down the leafy street lined with maple trees just starting to turn. An arbor's summer haze swallowed me whole, the radio blasting some old Springsteen track about broken promises. Thunder Road, fittingly enough. I drove aimlessly past the University of Michigan campus where Carl and I had dreamed of double majors and road trips to Chicago, past the dive bar where we'd toasted our high school graduation with pictures of whatever was cheap. My phone buzzed like a hornet in my pocket. Text from Carl. Alex, talk to me. Please. Then Dean, come home. We need to talk. I chucked the phone onto the passenger seat, watching it bounce like my sanity. Hours blurred. I ended up at the Huron River, that lazy stretch where Carl and I used to skip stones and bullshit about life. The water was low, mudflats exposing roots like veins. I sat on the bank, knees to chest, replaying the scene in my head. Dean's hand on Carl's neck, pulling him closer. Carl's sigh, soft and real. It wasn't just a fling, it was intimate, the kind of kiss that spoke of history I didn't know. And me? I'd always known I was different. High school locker rooms where I'd steal glances. College parties where I'd flirt with guys, but bail before it got real. Carl had been my safe harbor, straight, or so I thought. Loyal. The one person who got my sarcasm and my silences. We'd joked about crushes on girls. But lately, his questions had lingered. You seeing anyone? Man? Like? For real. I'd brush it off, terrified of the truth bubbling up. The sun dipped low, painting the sky bruised purple. My phone was dead now, and the ache in my chest had settled into a dull roar. I couldn't go home, not yet. But avoidance wasn't my style. Dad had taught me that much. Face it head on. Kid, he'd say, wiping grease from his hands after a long shift. So I drove back, the house lights glowing like a beacon I both craved and dreaded. Mom's Prius was in the drive, shit. Her shift ended early. I parked crookedly, heart hammering. Inside, voices murmured from the kitchen, low, tense, laced with tears. I pushed the door open, and there was Mom, her nurse's scrubs rumpled, hugging Dean like he was a lifeline. Carl sat at the table, head in hands. They all looked up, faces etched with exhaustion. Alex, Mom breathed, crossing the room to pull me into a hug that smelled like antiseptic and lavender. Thank God. We were worried. I stiffened in her arms, the fight draining out like air from a punctured tire. Mom, did they tell you? She pulled back, eyes red-rimmed but steady. Yeah, baby. They told me. And just like that, the dam broke. I sank into a chair, the story spilling out in fragments, my shock, my anger, the way it felt like the ground had vanished. Mom listened, her hand on my arm, while Dean and Carl exchanged glances heavy with unspoken weight. When I finished, silence hung thick. Dean cleared his throat. Alex, Carl and I, it's in a few months. It started at that block party in July. We're talking about old times, and one thing led to another. Months, I echoed, staring at Carl. You've been lying to me for months? Carl's voice was small. I didn't know how to tell you. You're my best friend, Alex. I was scared it'd ruin everything. Ruin everything. Yeah, it had. But as the words settled, I saw it, the guilt in Carl's eyes, the way Dean's shoulders sagged under the weight of secrets. Mom squeezed my hand. Love's complicated. Honey, it doesn't always fit in neat boxes. I wanted to scream that this wasn't some Hallmark movie, that it hurt like hell. But her words cracked something open in me, a sliver of understanding amid the rage. That night, We talked until the stars wheeled overhead. Awkward, halting, but real. No resolutions. Just the raw edges of truth laid bare. Little did I know, that was just the beginning. The real storm was brewing, one that would force me to confront not just their betrayal, but the lies I told myself for years. The next morning hit like a hangover without the fun parts, head pounding, mouth dry, the ghost of last night's confessions lingering in the air. I woke in my old twin bed, posters of Nirvana and the Wolverines peeling at the edges. The room, a time capsule of the kid I'd been before college, scattered my illusions. Downstairs, the clatter of dishes signaled normalcy's fragile return. Mom was humming an old Madonna tune, flipping pancakes like the world hadn't tilted on its axis. I dragged myself to the kitchen, avoiding eyes. Dean was at the stove, his back to me, broad and familiar in a faded Michigan tee. Carl wasn't there, probably crashed on the couch after our marathon talkathon. "Morning, Alex," Dean said, voice neutral, like we were discussing the Tigers' losing streak. "Yeah, morning." I poured coffee, black and bitter, scalded my tongue on purpose. It was a small pain, grounding. Mom slid a plate my way, pancakes stacked high, drowning in syrup. "Eat up, kiddo. We can't fix everything on empty stomachs." We ate in stilted quiet, forks scraping china, the only sound besides the hum of the fridge. Finally, Dean set us down. "Look, Alex, about last night." "Don't." I cut him off, sharper than intended. "Not now. I need space." He nodded, jaw tight. "Fair enough. But we gotta talk eventually. All of us." Mom reached across, her fingers cool on mine. "Your dad's right. This family's been through worse. Remember when we lost your father?" We clawed our way back. Her words stung, invoking Dad's memory like a shield. She meant well, but it felt like erasure. Dean stepping into a role no one could fill, now complicated by this. I mumbled something non-committal and escaped to the backyard, the screen door slapping shut. The yard was Mom's pride, raised beds bursting with tomatoes and basil, a hammock strung between oaks that whispered in the breeze. I flopped into it, swaying gently, staring at the clouds scudding across the sky, too blue for my mood. My phone buzzed. "Carl, can we meet? Here on River? 2 p.m.? I typed fine before I could overthink it. The riverbank was our spot, etched with memories, skipping school to fish, burying a time capsule after graduation, full of dumb promises like we'll conquer Wall Street. Carl was already there when I arrived, skipping stones with that fluid wrist flick, his profile sharp against the glittering water. He looked up, relief flooding his face. "You came. Promised I'd try." I sat beside him, closed but not touching, the grass prickly under my jeans. A heron stalked the shallows nearby, indifferent to our drama. He tossed another stone, 3 skips, a personal best. "Alex, I never meant to hurt you." "Dean, it just happened. We were both lonely, I guess." "Lonely?" I snorted. "You're 22. Prime of life. And Dean's married to my mom." Carl winced. "I know. That's the messed up part. But it's real. Man, the way he looks at me, like I'm not just some kid. And me, I've been out since freshman year. Quietly. Hiding it from you because I didn't want to scare you off. Out." The word hung there, simple and seismic. I'd suspected, in flashes, his crushes on guys at parties, the way he dodged girls. But hearing it, it unlocked something in me, a confession clawing at my throat. "I get it. More than you know." He turned, eyes searching mine. "What do you mean?" I picked at a blade of grass, shredding it. "I've been figuring shit out too. Guys, not girls. For a while now, the admission felt like shedding skin, raw and exhilarating. Carl's smile was tentative, warm. Dude, that's huge. Why didn't you say? Because I'm a coward. I forced a laugh. And because you were my straight best friend fantasy. Safe. We sat there, the river murmuring secrets. And for a moment, it felt like absolution. He bumped my shoulder. You're not a coward. You're the bravest guy I know. Remember that time you stood up to Coach Harlan? For me, flashback hit, sophomore year. Harlan benching Carl for looking soft. I called him out in front of the team. Got suspended for a game. Yeah, well, brothers before bros. Right? He chuckled, but it faded quick. About Dean. I love him. Alex. It's not just physical. He gets the pressure, the hiding. Your mom's amazing, but she doesn't know that side of him. Doesn't know? I sat up straighter. Wait, Mom knows now, right? Last night, she knows about us. Yeah, but not everything. Carl's voice dropped, eyes flicking away. Dean's complicated. Been carrying stuff since he was my age. I pressed, curiosity overriding anger. Like what? He hesitated, then sighed. His brother. Back in Pittsburgh. They were close, too close. Maybe. Family found out. Disowned him. He moved here. Buried it all. Met your mom. Thought he could play straight. Until me. The pieces clicked. Dean's quiet moods. The way he'd zone out during football games. Staring at nothing. Secrets upon secrets. Jesus. And you? How'd you end up in this soap opera? Carl shrugged. Sheepish. Flirting at the party. He was grilling. I was helping. One beer led to a walk. A talk about regrets. Next thing, we're at the lake house his folks left him. It's snowballed. The lake house. I've been there once. A rustic cabin on Lake Huron. All pine walls and creaky docks. Family weekends. Esmores by the fire. Now tainted. Does Mom know about the lake? Not yet. Carl's guilt mirror mine. We're telling her soon. Together. Together. The word tasted foreign. I stood, brushing dirt from my pants. I need time. Carl. This. It's a lot. I get it. He rose too, pulling me into a hug, platonic, brotherly, but it stirred that old ache. Just don't hate me. Okay, you're family. I nodded into his shoulder, inhaling his familiar scent of soap and river damp. Trying not to. Back home, the afternoon dragged. Mom was napping. Dean at the plant for an early shift. I rifled through his desk in the den. Impulse. Born of that gnawing need to understand. Bills. Fishing lures. A dog-eared copy of The Great Gatsby with margins full of notes on longing. Tucked in the back, a faded photo. Dean young and grinning. Arm around a guy who looked eerily like Carl. Dark curls. Easy smile. On the back, in spidery script, Dean and Jamie. Summer '02. Brothers in arms. Jamie. The brother. My stomach churned. Was this the too close? Incest? No, the math didn't add up. Dean was older. But the intimacy in their eyes. It mirrored what I'd seen yesterday. Footsteps creaked. I shoved the photo back. Heart racing. Dean stood in the doorway. Grease streak from work. Snooping. Busted. Just. Curious. About your past. His face hardened. Then softened. Fair. But some doors stay shut for a reason. Like the one I walked through yesterday. I shot back. He sighed, sinking into his desk chair. Touché. Look, Alex. I never wanted to hurt you or your mom. Carl, he's a light in the dark. Reminds me of who I was before life beat it out of me. We talked then. haltingly. About his youth, the steel mill town where being gay meant whispers and beatings. About meeting Mom, the compromise of half a life. I love her, he said fiercely. But love's not zero-sum. Carl. He's the missing piece. It humanized him, cracked my anger. But as evening fell, Mom home and dinner simmering, spaghetti, her comfort food, the undercurrent hummed. Carl arrived with wine, awkward pleasantries exchanged. We ate, laughter forced, like actors in a bad community theater play. That night, alone in bed, doubts swirled. Carl's hug by the river, had it lingered? And Dean's photo. What if Jamie wasn't a brother at all? The questions festered, poisoning the fragile peace. By week's end, the house felt like a pressure cooker. Mom cornered me in the laundry room, baskets overflowing. Talk to me, Alex. Really? I folded a towel, avoiding her gaze. It's just, everything's upside down. Dean and Carl, it's wrong. Isn't it? The age gap, the family tie. She paused, detergent bottle in hand. Wrong's a slippery word. Honey, your dad's given me more than I deserve. Stability, love. If he needs more, who am I to cage that? Her voice cracked. I suspected. You know, the late nights, the distance. But seeing it hurts like hell. You're okay with it? I stared, incredulous. Not okay. Accepting. She cupped my cheek. Life's too short for grudges. Like with your father, we wasted years fighting over nothing. Her words echoed Dad's accident reports I'd read as a teen. Slippery floor. Momentary lapse. One decision. Everything gone. I hug her tight. Tears pricking. I love you. Mom. Love you more. She pulled back, smirking. Now, about you and Carl. There's history there. Huh? Heat flooded my face. Mom, just saying. Eyes don't lie. She winked, leaving me reeling. The weekend brought the lake house trip, Mom's idea. To clear the air, Dean drove, Carl shotgun. Me and Mom in back like reluctant tourists. The cabin loomed on the bluff. Lake Huron stretching endless, waves whispering against the shore. It was beautiful, brutally so, sunsets bleeding red, loons calling like lost souls. We unpacked, assigned rooms, Mom and Dean in the master, Carl and I sharing the loft. Awkward didn't cover it. That first night, fire crackling in the stone hearth. We played cards, euchre, Michigan style. Laughter bubbled up genuine for the first time. Stories flowing, Dean's mill tales, Carl's dorm disasters, my botched philosophy paper. But as embers died, tension reignited. Carl and I climbed to the loft, twin beds creaking under us. Moonlight slanted through the skylight, silvering his skin. This okay? He whispered. Yeah, lie. My pulse thrummed, the air thick with unsaid things. He rolled toward me. Alex, that day by the river, when you said you're figuring it out, I meant what I said. You're brave. Our eyes locked, and time stretched. His hand brushed mine. Accidental? Intentional? I didn't pull away. Carl, a floorboard groaned below. Dean's voice drifted up. You boys all right? We sprang apart. Fine, Carl called, voice pitching high. Sleep evaded me. The what-ifs a carousel. By dawn, resolve hardened. I needed answers about Jamie, about everything. Little did I know, the lake held more than sunsets. It cradled secrets that would drown us all. Dawn broke over Lake Huron like a promise unkept, pink and gold bleeding into the waves. The air crisp with pine and possibility. I slipped out early, boots crunching gravel to the dock. Coffee mug steaming in my grip. The water lapped rhythmic. a lullaby for the unrest churning inside me. Dean joined me minutes later, rod in hand, bait bucket swinging. Fishing, his ritual, our unspoken truce. "Mine company?" he asked, settling on the weathered planks. "Nah," I reeled in my line, empty hook glinting. We'd fished here before. Just us. After Mom begged off for a nap. Man-to-man talks about girls for me. Cars for him. Now, the silence stretched taut. He cast first. Line whistling. "Beautiful. Ain't it? Been coming here since I was a boy. Dad's place. Left it to me when he passed. Family spot." I nodded, probing. "Lots of memories?" His jaw worked. "Some good. Some complicated." The bobber danced on ripples. "You saw the photo, didn't you? In the desk. Busted again. Jamie." "Here, brother." Dean chuckled. "Dry." "Nah. Cousin. Technically. But closer than that." He reeled slow, deliberate. "We grew up thick as thieves. Steel town rough. Folks worked mills. Came home beat. Jamie and me, we dreamed bigger. College. Escape. Then, we fell in love." The words landed soft. Seismic. I fumbled my pole, nearly dropping it overboard. "You and your cousin?" "Second cousin. Distant enough for whispers. Not beatings." His voice steadied. Eyes on the horizon. "Summer '02. This very dock. We kissed under stars like last night. Thought it was forever. What happened?" My hook snagged weeds. Frustration mirroring the tangle in my chest. "Life." He yanked free. Family found letters. Hell broke loose dissonance. Sermons. Jamie cracked. Drank himself numb. I ran, Pittsburgh to Detroit. Auto plants. Buried it deep. Met your mom years later. Post-divorce. She was light. Alex. Real. But the ache. It never left. I absorbed it. The weight of decades in his posture. And Carl? He filled that ache. Dean's smile ghosted. "Yeah. Boys got fire. Remind me of Jamie's laugh. Your dad's grit. But it's not replacement. It's hope. Hope." The word stuck. Thorny. Back at the cabin. Breakfast was communal. Bacon sizzling. Mom's quiche bubbling. Carl avoided my eyes. Focused on chopping fruit. His knife rhythmic like a heartbeat. After, we hiked the bluff trail. Narrow path through ferns. Overlooks dizzying. Mom led, chattering about wildflowers. Dean trailed, snapping photos on his old Nikon. Carl and I fell back, footsteps sinking. Heard the fish story, I murmured. He glanced sidelong. Eavesdropped. Heavy shit. Yeah. Pause. You ever think about us? Hypothetical. His step faltered. All the time. But Dean, right? The bluff open to a vista, wind whipping. I stopped, facing him. Truth, I loved you first. Carl. As more than friends. That's why this guts me. His face crumpled. Hand reaching, then dropping. Alex. God. I'm sorry. I suspected. Hoped maybe. But I fell for him. Hard. Rejected. It burned. But cleaner than lies. Fair. Just. Needed to say it. We hugged then. Fierce and final. Salt wind drying tears. Mom called from ahead. Lunch at the point. The afternoon unfolded idyllic. Picnic on a rocky outcrop. Sandwiches and stories. Laughter flowed easier. Barriers thinning. But as sun arced, storm clouds gathered offshore. Dark and brooding. Metaphor. Maybe. For the Thunderhead building. Evening brought rain. Sheets lashing the cabin like judgment. We huddled inside. Power flickering. Cards abandoned for ghost stories by lantern light. Mom's turn. A tame tale of hitchhikers on Route 23. Then Dean's, his voice low, weaving to real ghost, Jamie's End. He drove off a bridge. Winter '05. Pills and booze. Note said, sorry I couldn't be brave. Lantern shadows danced on walls. I blame myself. Still do. Some days, silence swallowed us. Mom's hand found his, tears gleaming. Carl's eyes met mine, shared grief. Unspoken. You were brave. Dean, I said, voice thick. Coming out here. Building this. He nodded, throat working. Takes a village. Kid. Or a family. Rain eased a patter, but sleep dodged me again. Loft shadows loomed, Carl's breathing even beside me. I rose, padding downstairs for water. Kitchen glowed dim, Mom and Dean at the table. Heads bent close. That can't keep pretending, Mom whispered. I love you. But this, Carl, it's tearing us. Dean's murmur. I know. We'll figure it. I froze. Glass midway to lips. Eavesdropping now? Karma. But her next words iced me. And Alex? He's struggling. I see it. The way he looks at Carl. It's more than anger. My heart stuttered. She knew. Dean's reply. Give him time. Boy's got his own storms. I backed away, retreating upstairs. Mind reeling. Mom saw through me, always had. Dawn would bring confrontation. But for now, I curled under quilts. The lake's whisper a dirge. Next day broke clear. Skies scrubbed. We kayaked tandem boats. Me with Carl. Mom and Dean ahead. Water was glass smooth. Loons diving. Laughter echoed as we raced. Splashes flying. For hours, it was escape. Paddles dipping syncopated. Sun warming shoulders. But on the return, disaster struck. Dean's boat snagged a log, tipping violent. He surfaced sputtering. Mom clinging to the side. Then she slipped under, current pulling. Mom! Panic surged. I leaped, swimming hard. Carl shouting behind. Waves chopped, cold shocking. I reached her, arm around her waist, kicking toward shore. Dean was there too, hauling us in, faces ashen. On the bank, soaked and shaking. We coughed up lake water. Mom wheezed. I'm fine, cramp. That's all. But her eyes held fear. The what-if unspoken. Back at the cabin, blankets and hot tea. Adrenaline crashed. Dean paced, guilt carving lines deeper. My fault. Should have checked the props. Stop. Mom pulled him down. Accidents happen. We're alive, but in the quiet, it fractured us. That night, around the fire, truths spilled like embers. Mom first. Dean, I can't share forever. It's killing me. Slow. He paled. What are you saying? Divorce. Amicable. For all of us. Her voice steady, but tears tracked. I want you happy. Truly. Carl choked. No. Yes. She turned to him. Kind but firm. You're good for him. Carl. But this house. It's not yours. I sat mute. The proposal a gut punch. Family dissolving. Like Dad's death all over. Dean's eyes met mine, pleading. Alex, you okay? No. Raw honesty. But if it's real, fight for it. Don't half-ass love. His nod was grateful. Broken. Carl reached for me, hand squeezing. We'll get through. Storm passed, but ripples lingered. Drive home was subdued. Radio low on folk tunes about lost loves. An arbor welcomed us gray and drizzly. The house feeling vast. Empty. Weeks blurred. Mom apartment hunting. Laughter scarcer. Carl moved in with Dean, tentative. Official. I buried in classes. avoiding the ache. But one night, bar crawl with dorm mates. It erupted. Carl texted, "Miss you." Beers, neutral ground. The dive, neon signs. Sticky floors. Springsteen on jukebox. He slid into the booth. Beers foaming. "How's life?" "Surviving." I clink bottles. "You and Dean solid?" "Yeah. Thanks to you." His smile warmed. That bluff talk meant the world. Water under the bridge. Lie still stung. But as pitchers emptied, confessions flowed. "Mom's right. You know, I was in love with you." Was. Teasing. But eyes soft. Am. Honesty. Liquid courage. But seeing you happy. It's enough. He leaned in, forehead to mine. "You're incredible, Alex. Someday, someone's gonna see that." The hug goodbye lingered. Platonic fire. Outside, rain slick streets. My steps lighter. Betrayal scar faded. Scar tissue strong. But fate twisted cruel. Home. Voicemail blinking on. Voice wobbly. "Alex, come over." Now, her new place, cozy rental near campus. Boxes half unpacked. She paced. Phone clutched. "Dean's gone. Packed last night. Left a note." "Gone? What?" "Back to Pittsburgh. Jamie's mom dying. Wants reconciliation." Tears spilled. He couldn't say no. Carl went with him. The blow landed. Sacrifice, family calling Dean home. Carl choosing love over us. Rage boiled. He just leaves? After everything. Mom collapsed on the couch, sobbing. I pushed too hard. Divorce papers. He thought it was final. I held her, fury white hot. Betrayal anew, not just romantic, but abandonment. Dad's ghost loomed, men leaving voids. Days devolved, me silent. Mom withdrawn. I drove to the lake house alone. Key borrowed from neighbor. Empty. Echoing. In Dean's drawer, the photo and a letter, unsealed. "Alex, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. Jamie's in broke me, but you mended cracks. Tell your mom I love her. Always. Carl and I. It's real, but so's my blood. Come visit." Doors open. Dean, tears blurred ink. Understanding dawn, blood ties. The pull of forgiveness. I pocketed it, vowing return. Fall descended on an arbor like a sigh. Leaves carpeting sidewalks in crimson and gold. Air crisp with cider mill scents and the promise of change. Mom rallied slow, therapy sessions, girls' nights at the brew pub. Her laughter tentative but returning. Me, I threw into routine, lectures on queer theory, ironic timing. Pickup games at the rec center, where sweat drowned doubts. Carl's text tapered, Pittsburgh's gritty. "Miss am I? You good?" I replied sparse. Healing's armor. Thanksgiving loomed. Mom's first solo. "Turkey for two," she joked. Basting in our stripped-down kitchen, Dean's tools gone. Walls echoing. "Or pizza," I grinned, chopping onions for stuffing. Dad would have approved. She paused. Knife mid-slice. He would. And Dean. He'd say grace over it all. The mention didn't sting like before. "You talked to him?" "Emails. Jamie's mom passed last week." Service was small. Her eyes softened. "He's staying for now." Carl's job hunting there. Envy flickered, their fresh start, but gratitude edged in. Good for them. Holiday came quiet. Feast on TV trays. It's a wonderful life flickering. Midway, doorbell chimed. Mom frowned. Expecting, I opened to Carl. Duffel at feet. Snow dusting his curls. Surprise. Greyhound got me here cheap. Mom enveloped him. Tears instant. "You didn't have to. Wanted to." He hugged back. Then me warm. Familiar. Missed this chaos. Over pie. Stories spilled. Pittsburgh's bridges. Dean's Mill reunion. Carl's barista gig at a hipster spot. It's raw, he said, fork waving. But healing. Dean's. Lighter. In you. Mom prodded. Maternal. Happy. Scared shitless. But happy. His grin infectious. Later. Dishes done. Mom shoot us out. Walk. Digest. Snow fell soft. Street lamps haloed. We crunched to the park. Benches iced. Heard about the lake, Carl said. You went. Yeah. Found the letter. I leaned back. Breath fogging. Makes sense now. He nodded. Jamie's shadow big. But Dean's facing it. Therapy. Even. Progress. Pause. Heavy. You too. Solid. Solid as steel. Teasing nod to Dean's roots. But I worry about you. That rejection stings less. Honesty. College guys got my eye. Philosophy TA tall. Tattoos. Quotes Whitman. Carl's laugh boomed. Get it? Alex. Invite him to New Year's. Maybe. The idea thrilled. Tentative wings. Christmas neared. Mom stringing lights solo. Dean called speakerphone. Voice tinny. How's my favorite duo? We bantered. Her nursing tales. My finals woes. Carl says hi, he added. Sends pics of his steelworks. Ugly beautiful. Miss you. Old man. Mom's tease affectionate. Miss you more. Pause. Alex, that TA details. I flushed. Nosy. But. Yeah. Coffee date tomorrow. Pride warmed his chuckle. Proud of you. Son. Son. It fit now. Earned. The date. Campus cafe. Steam rising from lattes. Ethan, 6'3". Ink peeking from cuffs. Eyes like storm clouds. We talked Kerouac. Queerness in suburbia. The ache of hidden selves. His hand brushed mine over Foucault, electric, unhurried. This okay, he murmured. More than. Pulse raced. Real. Winter break brought Ethan home. Awkward intros. Mom's pie vetting. Carl and Dean arrived Christmas Eve. Airport shuttle dropping them snow-dusted. Hugs all around. The house bursting. Dinner, turkey leftovers. Eggnog spiked. Stories overlapped. Pittsburgh's hollers. Ethan's road trip epics. Dean pulled me aside later. By the tree, twinkling. He's a keeper. Eyes up here. Though. Wink. Jealous. I quipped. Nah. Just. Happy for you. His clap on my shoulder solid. That day you walked in, worst timing. But best catalyst. Truth. We clinked mugs. Forgive the snooping. Water under the bridge. Echoing my words to Carl. New Year's. Bonfire in the backyard. Neighbors milling with sparklers. Ethan arrived. Hand in mine, unashamed. Carl and Dean swayed slow to a playlist. Oldies. Dean's humming off-key. Mom watched. Content. A scarf wrap queen. Midnight neared. Countdown building. Ethan pulled me close. Resolution. Be brave. Kiss tentative. Then sure. Fireworks bursting overhead. Cheers drowning doubts. Across the yard. Carl caught my eye. Thumbs up. Dean raised a glass. Mom beside him, not lovers, but family forged. The year turned. Secrets aired. Betrayals mended into stronger seams. I'd walked in on a fracture. But what happened next? Rebirth. In the messy, human heart of America, steel towns and lake bluffs, dive bars and dorm confessions, we learned love isn't possession. It's release. The quiet courage to let go and grab hold anew. No tidy bows, just the raw, redemptive pulse of living true. And in that, we found our way home.